Hello and welcome to Developers 10 by Newton School. I am 𝐏𝐚𝐲. I'm a front-end developer at 𝐏𝐚𝐲, and in today's video we are going to continue our series of making UI components. Today we are going to create one very interesting component that you see every day, everywhere. These are cards. There are various types of cards. In some cards there are photos, in some cards there are just text. There are lots of animation in the cards. So keep watching. In this video I'm going to show you how to create reusable cards by passing different props which you can use in your projects. So before starting, if you haven't liked the video, do like it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, do subscribe it. And by the end of the video, if you have any doubt, do comment it out. I'll help you for sure. Also, a huge thanks to Newton School for making this video possible. Newton School is a platform where you can learn coding, you can get a job, and you don't have to pay anything till you get a job. So kudos to Newton School for that. Let's go. So very quickly, I'll give you a demo of what we're going to build today in this video. So as you can see, we are going to build the cards, and this is the card that we have already built. You can see that this is the header, this is the image component, this is the body, and this is the footer. This card is completely reusable. If you don't want to pass the header, don't pass it. It won't be shown there. If you don't want to pass the image, don't pass it. If you don't want to pass any of these content, you don't have to pass it as the prop, and the card will still look great. Plus it will take the appropriate height, appropriate width, and the corners can be rounded, corners can be square. You can customize it any way you want. So if you want to learn how to make this customizable card, do watch this video and code along with me, and I'm sure that by the end of this video you'll learn a lot how to create customizable UI components. So let's get started with the coding part. Now first of all, I'm going to open my UI library React file that we already have. So this video is in continuation with the series that I'm already creating. If you haven't watched the previous video, you can go on my channel and watch the video where I have created a button component and a drop down component. Very quickly, I'll show you that as well. So if I'll go to my terminal and I'll type npm start, this will run my local development server where you can see the buttons that we created in the last video. So as you can see, this is running on my local host 3000, and these are the components that we created in the last video. So this will be continuation from there. But if you are new to this channel and you don't want to see the previous video, I'll just tell you what we have done so far. So we have created a React project so if you'll open your terminal and you'll go to your destination folder wherever you want to create your project, and I have used npm create react app. Create react app is a package by which you can create a skeleton or a template for your React project. It's used by all the developers so far. It's very easy to set up your React project nowadays. So what I did is npx create react app, and then I wrote whatever project name that I want. So I am assuming that you know all of these already, and if you want to now build card components in this video, then do watch this entire video, code along with me, and I'm sure by the end of this video you'll have the beautiful cards that you just saw in the demo video. So what we are going to do is we are going to increase the size of my code editor so that you can see. I'll be using VS Code editor, but you are free to use any code editor that you want, because I personally like VS Code because of the extensions that I get, and it's very easy to use as well. Plus it's open source by Microsoft. So if I'll close this, okay. So what we can do now is we'll go to our app.js file, and I will remove the button part that we were already using. Also, I'll close this terminal because we don't need it. I hope my code is visible to you. So I will remove this button wrapper entirely. Perfect. Now, so today what we are going to build? Today we are going to build cards. So I'll rename this as cards. Perfect. Now if I'll see here, cards by developer 10. So first of all, what kind of card are we going to build? So you must have noticed that cards have multiple use on your website. You can use them to display some product, you can use them to display some content, and so on. So basically what I believe is a generic card has three things. One is a header, a body, and a footer. And inside a body you can have a media, a content, and then footer. So these are the four things that I'm going to use in my card today, and that I'll be showing you. So first of all, I'm going to create a folder. Inside my components folder, I'll create a folder called cards and card, basically not cards. I'll rename this as card. Perfect. Now I'll create an index folder. So this is my coding structure that I follow. I basically create an index file which is like an entry point to all of my components. I'll increase the size a bit more. So now I'll be using a extension called React snippets, by which I can just have to write RAFCE, and this will give me a functional component and also export it. So you can use that, or you can just write these 5 lines yourself. So I'll call this as card. Now if I'll save this, and inside my app here, inside a div. I don't need a div actually. I'll just say card. Concept. I'll say card, and I'll import it. And then if I look at here, you can see this is the card that we have. Also, I've already set up the entire UI theme and everything in all the previous videos. If you don't want to watch it, I'll just tell you what we have so far. So we have a variables.css file in which I have declared all my color variables. Why variables? Because it's easier to use throughout the project, and tomorrow if I want to change the UI of my project, I just have to change the hex values at one place and not by going into each of the CSS file in my code base. So I have created a variables.css file and I have imported this inside my app.css file so that it is applied to all of my project. And then we have changed the font family to IBM Plex Mono. You can use any other font family that you want. So this is it. And inside my app.js, I just have a heading so that for every new video, I can change it to cards. Tomorrow I can change it to accordion, and then I can change it to tables and so on. So without any further delay, let's get started with the card component right now. And so I'll create a CSS file as well. It will be card.css. So this is the naming convention that I generally follow. I create an index file for the entry and a CSS file with the same name. So I'll import the CSS file here as well. Import CSS card.css. Let's save this, and okay, so let's start building it. So first of all, I'll call this card wrapper class name. This as the card wrapper. Now I want this card wrapper to have the only the width of whatever content we are giving. I don't want to hard code it because I want to make this card as much reusable as I can. So what I will do is I'll go to the CSS file and I'll say card wrapper, and I'll say width is equal to max content, height is equal to max content. So whatever is the width and height for this card will be the maximum content that it is containing. It won't overflow and so on. And then now I'll say box shadow as where white shadow. So I'll show you the white shadow that we have. Here you can see that I have declared a variable for white shadow. You can create your own shadow by going online and you can experiment. If you like the shadow on any website, you can copy it from there, or you can just go to websites such as shadow generator, a website like this where you can experiment on your own. You can generate shadows and everything. So from there you can get the hex values. So I will be using this white shadow here, white shadow. Perfect. Now if I'll see, you can see that the width, so there is something little white here if it is visible to you, and there is a shadow as well. So this is the card shadow that we have. Now let's start building here. Plus I want it to have some default padding throughout the content. So I'll say padding of 12 pixel will do. Perfect. Now there are few classes that I would like to have in my website. So what happens generally is that sometimes we want a card to be rounded, sometimes we don't want a card to be rounded. So it's better that we take it as prop. So now whenever you're using a reusable component, props are going to be your best friend because you can pass everything as prop. So what I'll say, first of all, that whether const, so this is called destructuring in JavaScript. So what happens that whenever you pass something as object and you want to pick something out of that object, you can just destructure it like this. So whatever thing you want to pick out from the object, you can write it like this, rounded, right? Like this. This rounded is equivalent to props.rounded. So this is called destructuring in JavaScript. You can read more about it, and a lot of people use this convention nowadays. So what I'll say is now apart from card wrapper, so I want to use some variable inside this class name. So for that I'll have to I will have to remove this from here. I'll remove this, and instead I will use backticks here. And to use the backticks, you'll have to enclose it inside curly braces. Now this acts like a string, plus I can write variables here. So I will say is that suppose if my card is rounded, suppose if this particular prop is true, then apply the card name rounded, otherwise don't apply anything. So what this will do, this will check that wherever I am importing my card component, if I'm passing this rounded as one of the prop, so then I'll have to apply this class name, otherwise don't. Now what this particular class name will do is I'll go to my CSS file. So what this class name will do, I'll say rounded. So for rounded, I'll say border radius as 12 pixel. That's it. Now if you can see it's not rounded right now because we are not passing this particular prop. So if by going to my app.js, if I'll say rounded is equal to true. Now if I'll do this, you can see my card is rounded now. And similarly, if I'll make this false, this card won't be rounded. Or if I miss this particular prop, my card won't be rounded. Now perfect, it's looking good. Next thing that we need is of course a header. So what we'll do is, so now header should be passed from your prop. It could be anything. It could be a suppose it could be a heading tag, it could be a text, it could be anything. So for that, I'm not going to hard code whatever it is. I'll just say header, card header. So I'll say card header. So like this. So I'll say a div, and inside this whatever card header is there, I'll write it like this. Now for this I have to check it that if there is a card header then only show it, otherwise don't. So what I'll do is I'll enclose everything inside a curly braces and I'll say that card header and. So this and operator is a check basically, which means that if the left hand side is true, then only compute whatever is on the right hand side. So if card header prop is passed, then only it will be rendered on my screen. So you can see that we have nothing right now on the screen. So but now tomorrow, suppose I'll say const card header. So tomorrow if I create something like this, if I create a header like this, and this is header, this is header, I'll say developers den. Perfect. So now this is the card header that we have. It is returning a node basically. So this is a node which I can use here, React node, so which I can use here. So I'll say card header is equal to card header. Now I just have to make it small case. Now perfect. Now if you'll see, I am passing this particular div as the card header prop to my card component. Now if I'll go to my card and if I'll save here, and there is something missing, I'll just see it very quickly. Why is it happening like this? Card rounded. Perfect. So nothing is being rendered here because card header is there. If I'll just remove this particular check and if I see it, so if I see it, you can see that this card header is not being passed. So okay, so this is being passed as a function right now. So what instead I can do is I can just call this function here, and now you can see that this is header by developers den. It's working fine. Also in my card component I can keep the check here as well. So I'll show what was happening. So previously what was happening is that I was passing this card header as a function and not the entire value of this component. So this looks good. This is the header that we have. So suppose tomorrow if I want to remove the header, I'll just remove this particular card header prop. So if you whatever styling you want to do in this component, you'll have to do it at this level only. You can't do this by going inside the card component. So this is one drawback about cards, is that you'll have to pass the components from there only. The next thing that I want in my card is some media. So what kind of media we can have? So suppose tomorrow I'll say let's have an image of React logo. So which image looks good? This image looks good. So what I'll do is I'll just copy the image address, and now suppose if I want to say at card media, and I'll just pass this as the URL. Perfect. We have card media now. So inside my card.js, you must have guessed it by now that I want to import the card media. Now card media is destructured from the prop, and now we are going to use this particular card media. So I'll say that if card media exists, then only render an image tag. Class name will be obviously card image, and the source is going to be, now inside curly braces, the source is going to be card media, and then close this bracket. Perfect. Now you need an alt text as well. So I'll just say card image. Perfect. So it's giving some errors that Okay, card image, you can't use image as the alt, so I'll just say card. Perfect. Now if you'll see here, you can see this image is being rendered, but we have to style it as well. We will style everything, the header, the image, and the text, everything, once we have created the skeleton layout, so we can wait for that. So next thing that I want to pass is some card content. Now again, what happens inside a card content is that similarly like a card header, we might have a content, we might not have a content. So similarly we'll destructure it from our header. We'll say card content, and we will copy this particular line, we'll paste it next to our media, and instead of card header we will say card content. Now inside my app.js I'll say that const card. So suppose tomorrow you want to pass this content, some text is there or something is there, you can either pass this like calling a function, or you can just pass it here. So what we can do is, I can do it like this. So I'll say a div, and I'll say this is a React channel, this is React channel where you will learn React, where you will learn React. Perfect. Now if you'll see this is not being rendered here, there might be some issues. So what we can do is, I'll just go there and I'll see card content, C is capital. Okay, the spelling mistake is there, so it's card content, not CRAD content. Perfect. Now you can see this is React channel where you learn React. So the content is also being displayed. So you just saw that you can either call it by a function, or you can just pass the div or whatever component you want directly from here. And the last thing that we want inside a card is obviously a card footer. So card footer is again going to be like similarly like the card header. So card footer is going to be a div where I'll say like, subscribe and share. I hope you are learning something. So if you are, make sure that you have liked the video, you have subscribed to the channel, and if you want to share it with your friends, you can share it there as well. So perfect. Now I'll just go there, I'll destructure it first of all. Not here. I'll destructure it first of all. So I'll say card footer. Perfect. Now I'll just copy this. I'll say that I want a card footer, and inside this I'll say card footer. Perfect. Now you can see like, subscribe, share. So now what we have to do is, we just have to style all of this. So as I told you that the styling will be done at the parent level, except for this image that we have. So I'll just copy this card image and also all these wrappers. So I'll give this names, class name to all these wrappers. So it will be card header, this will be class name as card content, and finally this will be class name as card footer, card header, content, image, and footer. So these are the class names that we have. So I'll go to my CSS file, and first of all I'll say that my card header, so this header, so by default I want inside my card a font size for the header, I want a font size of 20 pixel, let's say. But you can always rewrite this styling by a parent component. So these are like this default styles. If you forget to pass it tomorrow, we can say 24 pixel. Yes, it looks good. So the next thing that I want here is, I want the font weight to be 600. Looks good. Now for the card image, I want height to be minimum, let's say 240 pixel. But tomorrow if you want to change the height and width and everything, you can just change it from the parent component. Plus I want the width to be 100%, like it. Now it's you can see that this is distorting right now. So what we can say it, object fit as contain. Now this looks good. And finally for the content, what we'll do is card content. For the card content we can just say that so also inside the header I want some spacing in between. So I'll say margin from top and bottom, let's give it 6 pixel, and 0 pixel from left and right. Looks good. I can give it some more. So I'll say margin bottom as instead of 6 pixel we can say 12 pixel. Looks great. Next thing is card content. So for card content as well, I'll say the font size that I want is 18 pixel. 18 pixel looks good. Plus here now I want some spacing here as well, so I will say that margin from top and bottom I'll say 12 pixel and 0 pixel from left and right. Perfect, it looks great. And finally for the footer, I want everything to be at the center because it's the footer, so I'll say card footer. So I want everything to be at the center. So for everything to be at the center, I generally use flexbox. So flexbox is a great property of CSS. If you have mastered flexbox, you can create any layout that you want, be it how much complex it be. You can create your own custom layouts by flexbox or grid. So I'll say justify content as center and then align items as center. So I'll just quickly explain you what justify content and align items are. So if you give the property of flex to any of the div or component, there are two axes. One is the horizontal and one is the vertical. So by default, this justify content works on the horizontal axis and align items works on the vertical axis. So this line will center everything on the horizontal axis and this line will center everything on the vertical axis. So this is it. Now you can see that it is at the center, but I want something different here. So I'll say that font size to be 12 pixel for the footer. Looks good. And then font weight to be 600 as well. 600 as well. Yep, this looks quite good now. Plus, but the image is like, I don't like it because it's a square image. So what we can do is we can take some image like this. So I can just copy it from here and I can copy the image address, and then instead of passing this URL as the prop, I can change the URL from here and our component will be changed. Again, this isn't looking so good, but okay, it's perfect. I hope it works. So next thing that I can do is I can pass some emojis and everything inside the footer. So I'll say like emoji. So I'll go there, Emojipedia. From Emojipedia you can copy this emoji, accept all the cookies. So I'll just copy this, and inside the card footer I'll just paste it here. And for subscribe I don't have any emoji, but for share we can say okay, this looks good. I don't have to do anything else. So you can see that like is here. For share we can copy a rocket. I like rocket icon, so I'll say rocket. So I'll just copy this rocket and I'll paste it here next to the share. Perfect. Now if you'll see, this particular card component looks great, but one more thing is there, that the color for this background and this background is matching. So first of all I'll change this image. I don't like this at all. So what I'll do is instead of React, let's have something else. Let's have React logo wallpaper. Now this will give us much better results. As you can see, this is looking good. I'll copy this image address and I'll paste it here. Save it. Perfect. Now it looks good. Now also we need to change the background color. So for card we can go there, and for the card wrapper I'll say background color to be variable white. So white. Now you can see this is the card that we have. You can either change the card color from the parent or you can do anything that you want. Plus you can pass additional class names for the card, and you can make it clickable. So similarly like how we made this particular card component rounded, we can also make it as clickable. So for what I'll do is clickable. So I'll copy this particular prop name, and how we did it here, I'll again open curly braces. I'll say that if the card component is clickable, then pass the class name clickable, otherwise don't pass anything. Perfect. So I'll go to my app.js, and from here I'll say it is rounded true and clickable is also true. Now if the component is clickable, so what we can do is I'll go to my card.css, and here I'll say for clickable, just make the cursor as pointer. Perfect. Now you can see the cursor is pointer, the card looks clickable. Now if my card is clickable, obviously I need to do some action when it is clicked. So for this I need another function here. So I'll say on click. So this will be a prop that we will have, and which will be applied here, that on click Now I'll see that if it is clickable, then only pass the function on click, and then otherwise null. So what I'm doing is that if my component is clickable, then only apply whatever on click prop we are passing from the parent, otherwise don't do anything. So what I'll do, I'll go to my parent, which is the card obviously, and I'll pass the class name on click, and here I will say that let's give a callback function like this, and I'll say console.log I was clicked. Perfect. Now you will see, if I'll go to the inspect element and I'll open my console, and if I click on this card, you can see I was clicked is being logged. So this is the card component that you're going to create. This is header. Okay, I'll change the content here so that it looks better. This is a React channel where you will learn React, like, subscribe, share, and for the card header I can change the content to I love good UI. Perfect. So also I want this to be centered. So what I will do is I'll tell you how to pass styles from the parent. So I'll say class name. From here I can say that card heading, and now inside my app.js I'll go there and I'll say dot card heading. Now for this heading I'll say again I'll copy those 3 lines. So first one is display as flex, justify content as center, and align items as center. Perfect, works. Now you can see I love good UI, it is at the center and everything is working fine now. So this is the kind of card that I wanted to create. So this card is completely reusable, as you just saw. If you don't want to pass any of the image, don't pass it. If you don't want to pass the footer, don't pass it, and your card will still look great. So I hope you learned something new in this video. If you did, make sure that you have liked to the video, here subscribe to the channel, and if you have any doubt, do comment it out. I'll help you out for sure. Till then, keep learning, keep watching Developers Den, and also again a big thanks to Newton School for helping me making this video. If you want to learn software development or coding, do check out their platform. They have some great programs for help you learn. So I'll see you in the next video. Till then, goodbye and thank you.